What's up guys and welcome back to the channel. I'm Andy the Middle Aged Gamer and this is the officially licensed B&T GHM9 G gas blowback SMG/PDW manufactured by Lambda Defense. Now, before we jump in, usual disclosures ahead. This is an airsoft toy. This is not a real firearm and there are no real firearms in this video or in any of my videos. This was bought and paid for by me, and these are my own opinions based off my own experiences with this awesome little SMG. So, okay, before we jump into the GHM9, we need a little bit of backstory to understand where it comes from. And the best way of explaining it is the GHM9 is a next step evolution to the APC9. The APC9 is like the high-end, top spec version of it, but that went off to fight in the military, but was so overpriced, so proprietary, and so specialized that many of the law enforcement agencies and the civilian market were outpriced at that point. And so Carl Brugger decided to take everything that was good about the APC9, which is the lower part of it, such as the Glock magazines, the ambidextrous stuff and that, and then redesign the upper to make it more affordable to manufacture, which then brings it more affordable for law enforcement agencies such as police, guards, etc., or even bodyguards to use this as a cool little compact, stealthy, how would you say, SMG/PDW that you could hide under a coat. Now, with that in mind, you can see the work that he's done to do it, which was basically to lower the receiver and extend it out over the shooter's wrist, because the APC9 was very top heavy in left and right axes, but the forward and back was just as heavy as it was very front heavy. Without a stock extended, that thing really did need two hands to actually use it, especially on a accuracy sort of like competition based. So with the GHM, they changed all that, made it more easier to fit a stock as well by putting a Picatinny rail there instead of selling that as an aftermarket part like they did with the APC9 and just fitting a sling loop. And basically they got rid of the other expensive cost, which was the reciprocating charging handle. The non-reciprocating one on the APC9 was very expensive to develop, cost a lot to machine, especially if you want it to be reliable and actually function as a forward assist. And so as he went through that, he realized that, look, we can just do the SCAR 17, SCAR 16 and just fit the charging handle to the bolt, and that just cuts a lot of the cost out. And it's strong enough that you could give it a good beating to ram that round home. So, or clear a malfunction included, you know. Now, with that being said, it allowed the price of the GHM9 to come down by half. So that means instead of spending $3,000 on a semi-auto, how would I say, APC9, you spend $1,500 at most on one of these in its pistol configuration, and you can put whatever stock you wish. So, with that being said, how did Lambda Defense take all that knowledge and combined it into this awesome replica? So to do that, we're going to zoom in and let's take a look. Okay, as you guys can see on mine, I've fitted a CNC'd aluminum stock with a QD mount here, and you have this flip up butt pad, as you would call it, which is nice. It's locked in. It generally works. You're not going to have any issues with it. Now, of course, it is foldable, so we can take that, release it. It's still very new, even though it's got a steel mount, so it's very stiff at first, but it will compact, as you can see. And yes, the gun will fire, how would you say, from that sort of like closed position. And of course, in storage, you can flick it up, and as you can see there, it catches onto that and holds it and stops it from moving while it's in the backpack. So as you're going to airsoft with this cool stuff, it's going to last, it's going to stay here like this, and you're going to basically have a great time. But if not, it's just quickly fold and deploy. Now, as you can see, with the receiver now extended to the rear, it gives it a better balance. It's less top heavy, it's more front to back balanced, as you would say, especially with this nice CNC stock on the rear. Let's move on, and you can see here you have your AR-15 removable pistol grip, so you can swap that out for anything you want. It does feature the official B&T logo. As I say, this is officially licensed. You do have your polymer ambidextrous fire selector. It's just exactly the same as the real steel. And on this case, with the GHM9, they are balanced. You don't have the enlarged one on this side and the narrow one on the other, like you did with the APC9. With this, it's the same either way, so that whether you're left or right, you have the equal amount of pressure to move. Now, to put this on safe, you can't do it unless the gun is cocked. So just like an AR gas blowback. Now you can put it on safe, trigger's locked, semi, pull trigger, and away you go. Now, of course, you've got your full funds mode over there as you flip it all the way. The 45-degree throw from safe to semi is really cool, and it doesn't get in the way of the shooter's hand. Now, you do get your ambidextrous bolt hold open / release. It's the exact same on both sides, and you do get a nice magazine release button. This is huge, but does feature a very large wall around it, and I've held this in gameplay, and I've not had an issue with it at all. I've never accidentally, unlike the Chris Vector, where you could accidentally, because it's right here on the edge, you can just have enough fat of the, or meat of the hand so that you can accidentally ding it and drop it. But it's there, and if you do worry, you can easily fit a foregrip up here. You have plenty of rail space to do so. Now, with mine, like I say, you can see we have the GHM9G, which is your grasshopper mouse G. And that's kind of like the funny thing. The grasshopper mouse name came about as, like I say, during the APC9 trials and the, how would say, military adoption, one of the other SMGs that they've been fighting across the planet with various militaries was the APC, I should say, the CZ Scorpion. Now, Karl Brugger, ever one for a challenge, decided to call this the grasshopper mouse. Now, anyone who knows what they are absolute carnivorous little bastards that eat scorpions alive. So, as he was trying to make a better little SMG / PDW that was more cost effective, he decided to call this a grasshopper mouse as a dig for CZ. On the real steel, there's an Easter egg on the upper receiver part on the inside. You'll only see it when you disassemble it, but on the Airsoft, that's the only trademark that Lambert Defense forgot to put on. But you do have your B&T Switzerland on the upper receiver as well. Like I say, I'll show you those markings again, Swiss made. You have the Swiss cross here from B&T. These are quite nice. And like I say, you do have your reciprocating charging handle, which does lock open on both. You can drop it there. Now, the trigger on this is very heavy. Let's call it that way. It's about a 7-pound pull. So unless you are really intent on shooting this thing, you're not accidentally going to shoot your teammate. And that's one of the things I actually like. I turn that from a negative to a positive. Not everything needs a match grade trigger, because in Airsoft, you do have teammates. And shout out in the comments everyone who's accidentally pulled the trigger on a teammate because they've seen someone move right in front of them, come out from the side, not realized who they were, and just shot them. I've done it. Everyone's done it, especially if you're new or getting into, how to say, like Airsoft in general. You generally don't have time to see the actual red band or blue band or whatever color you're wearing, and you accidentally, how to say, shoot them. Having a heavier trigger gives you the eye that little bit more time so that you could actually identify target and let go without actually fully committing to shooting someone. So I don't mind that. Trigger can stay heavy, that's fine. But I have noticed over the 3,500 rounds I put through this now, it has eased up a little bit to more of a 6.5 to 7-pound pull. So it's not much, but it's enough. Now, as we move forward, we get to the handguard here. It's a single slot M-lock on the 3 and 9 o'clock, and nice Picatinny, how to say, quantity on the top and bottom. The top matches up and allows you this monolithic Picatinny rail right the way across, in case you wish to put a LVPO or something like that on there. That would be really funny. Cool meme, right? Now, at the front, this doesn't come with any flash hider, but it does come with a 14mm counterclockwise thread. There is a version that they are selling with the flash hider if you're ordering this in Asia, but many of the people here in the UK just have it with the threads exposed because they know you're going to fit a little can on there, a little tracer. I fitted a Spitfire, that's the word, which is quite nice, pistol tracer on there, and it just suits. Now, if we flip this thing around, As you can see, everything is nice and mirrored. You do have an enlarged mag release on the, right side of the weapon, which is great for your, trigger finger to rest on, and it will drop the mag quite easily. Now here you can see the markings there. You've got your serial number, which is matched onto the bolt, 9x19. It's not, it's 6mm airsoft, but it's kind of cool. GHM9, full logos there. It is quite a nice piece of kit. As you can see, just beautiful. Now, obviously, with that being said, we need to actually take this thing out and see how she does on her accuracy tests and FPS and all that. So let's take her out to the range. Okay, I'm using 0.2 gram BBs and green gas. Right, what does that give us an average of? Okay, so the average is 301 FPS on, green gas and 0.2 gram BBs, which is actually quite a decent FPS. Okay, let's do a grouping check. We're going to step it back to 10 meters, which is CQB average distance, and let's see what the grouping size is. Well, obviously I've got two flyers there, which were me. It's bloody cold here, but that is awesome. Okay, let's take it to the Texas Star and let's see how many BBs it takes to clear it. Ooh, fast. Gotcha. A few, but that's me rushing it. That's not a bad accuracy though. Well, that was absolutely awesome. If we take the results here, as you can see, this is a 6" by 6". So you're looking anywhere from 1.5 to 2" grouping there. This shot here and this shot here was a flyer from me. It's very rare, but like I say, you'll find that when it's cold and you're shaking, because outside it's only like 4 degrees. Now, let's move that out the way. Now, before we jump into this, as you can see, I've disassembled it off camera, as the powers that be don't allow me to show you everything on camera without getting a good telling off. So let's please the overlords, and I did it off camera. But before we jump in, obviously I do want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has subscribed to the channel, and if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. It's completely free and it really helps the channel out. Obviously all the other YouTube stuff, they like, comment and share it with a friend. That really does appreciate as well. If you want to go one step further, you can always use that YouTube thanks button. It really helps out even more. That helps you directly donate to the channel if you wish to do so. It's completely obligatory, so you can do what you want. It's up to you. I really appreciate whatever you guys do for this channel. You guys are absolutely awesome. So with that out of the way, let's jump in. Now, of course, as you can see here, you have your APC9 lower receiver with a few modifications, obviously, just to sort of like fit this GHM9. So as I say, you do have a AR-15 pistol grip. You can remove it. It's just a case of undoing this little latch under here and taking the hex screw out, and you can just put any mil-spec AR-15 grip and you're fine. The trigger itself is, like I say, is polymer. Now, I've got my little magnet here. This really isn't important as you think, so I do want you to take this with a pinch of salt. Please, guys, being steel doesn't always have to be the way. Tokyo Marine have shown you that with their guns. They run all day long. They've got the best accuracy out of the box, and
every other company copies them. So, like I say, steel isn't always the way, but here you go. You do have what I would describe as a polymer trigger, which is fine. Steel, I would say, pin for the trigger. The selector is polymer, just like the real steel. That's not like anything different. As you can see in there, you do have your little, there, I would say, cast sears there from the trigger and that, which is quite nice. Your hammer is cast. Okay. Oh God, that's another thing. This has a very stiff hammer on it. And you've got your trigger disconnect there, which sets the hammer ready to drop again. You do have your bolt stop here, which these are cast, and that's cast. The arm, this arm here, is basically steel. So the part that's important to lift that up is steel. This isn't, because come on guys, look at the size of that bolt stop. And even after 3,500 rounds, you just see paint wear. There's no actual physical gouges or anything like that. It's just paint wear, which is amazing because it's 4 times the size of an AR-15 bolt stop. It really is thick and beefy enough. It doesn't need it. Now, screws, the retaining pins, the pins themselves, all the other bits that hold this thing together. The spring in there is steel, and it's a really strong spring, as we've seen. It's really, really strong. But yeah, all these, as I say, are extremely well built and well durable. You're not going to have an issue, certainly anytime soon. So that is awesome. Let's move that off to the side. Now, one thing I didn't show you, but I will show you at the end, is the magazine. So we'll leave that to last. You do have your charging handle. It's steel, so you can give it a good beating, and it will actually, you know, stand the test of time. It's a nice single piece. Awesome. Now, that itself is what gives the bolt carrier its weight. So that inside, I would say, reciprocating along, it keeps its weight, and we can just pull that one out. But yeah, as you can see, the bolt carrier itself is long. Now on the real steel, here at the back you would have a hydraulic buffer. So as it went home, you wouldn't just have the dual guide rods and spring with this nice big thick rubber pad, but you would also have a hydraulic buffer here. On the APC9, it was mounted to the end cap, which is on here. On this, it's mounted inside, but obviously for airsoft reasons, they don't, so they leave that whole area empty because it would sit in there. This on its own weighs around about 180 grams. With the charging handle in, it's about 240 grams. So you get a nice stick, you know, a nice kick from it. It's not anything earth-shattering, but it is brilliant. It means it's great for gameplay. As you're running through CQB, clearing rooms, you're not feeling fatigue of having a heavy gun, and the recoil is not actually taking your aim off point. Let's put it that way, because as we all know, heavier the recoil, the less accurate guns tend to be, especially if you're going fast. Going slow, it's the same across the board, but going fast in gameplay where it matters, not on a shooting range, well, that's what you need. Now, as you can see, the only wear marks, let's see if we can get in, as you can see, it's just paint. There's no actual gouges on this. It's just general paint, which is really good for the build quality. And as you can see, there's your caliber markings in there. It's really good. You do have your nozzle there with an easy access return spring, so it's easy to, I would say, you know, change out. It's really cool, and it's a nice short travel nozzle. It's not long like you have on an AR or anything like that. So that's really cool. Now let's check the, yep, all steel. They're steel, and if I take one of them off, you'll find that that's steel. Oop, there you go. Steel guide rods, steel recoil springs, which are fine, and they do the job correctly. It's nice and lubed. Yeah, lots of grease. Now, let's go to the end start. As you can see, the end cap here, it's quite simple. It indexes to the top of the receiver with this point here that holds it in play, and this pins through to the actual, I would say, upper receiver there and locks everything together. It's quite simple, and being 1913 on the back, you can fit what the hell you like and enjoy it yourself. Before I throw it all over. Now, here we get to the receiver. Now this is a two-part, I would say, or two composite receiver. You have a polymer shell. Yes, it's polymer. It's not, I would say, aluminum. But you wouldn't think it's polymer, when you pull it out of the box and you feel the weight of this is heavy. You can see here where the end cap index is there. This though, all the entire side here is a metal reinforcement structure. So everything that keeps the two halves together, so here at the front, the block in here, the hop chamber, and all this, and it's all connected through reinforcement bits down the side, is metal. And you do have your rail system there. It's a nice, thick, beefy rail. As you can see, it is beautiful. Okay, it guides that bolt forward and back very well. Now your hop is adjusted there with the wheel, so it's easy. Lock your bolt to the rear, pushing it inwards will raise the hop, pulling it that way will lower it. The inner barrel and bookings for this are Marui spec, so that's not a problem. Everyone can gain access. It's not like you're looking for proprietary parts, looking at UG&G, especially with your gas blowback stuff. And yeah, it's just a lot better in that respect. Now, yes, your outer barrel as well is polymer out of the box. But for those of you who want metal handguard, metal receivers, metal barrels, all these parts are going to be sold extra over the next month or two. They'll start to appear throughout Asia. I've already got one of these upper receivers on order, and I've got the SD kit, which comes with the 5-inch handguard, 4-inch outer barrel that's got the SD ports, how to say, for integrally suppressed at the back, and you screw the suppressor on and through into the handguard. It looks really cool, kind of like the cannon brake look. And it comes with the B&T collapsing stock as a kit, or you can buy that on its own as well. All these stuff are coming from them, so they're not just sitting on their laurels and hoping that, you know, this is good enough. It's really, really good. Now, let's put all this back together and let's discuss.
Okay, so now it's all back together. One of the cool features I want to show you is the magazine. So if I take it off its stand a second, okay, so we can release the mag. Let's put that back down there a second. The magazine itself, as you can see, is fully licensed with the PMag logo, the address, serial number, product code, and on the other side, there you can go. You can see made in USA. It's not, but that's nice that they've copied that. They're giving you the actual witness holes here. And it has that paint look to give it the plastic look of a PMag. You've got the right base plate, etc. This is a 32 round magazine. So there you go. It's not a 35, it's a 32 round stick mag, which is quite nice. And it's cool. Now, this gun also fits, as you can see here. You got the official Glock VSC ones in, and cycles, works. And I've also got a TP22, which is your Action Army. Which works, no problem. So, as you can see, the claim to fame for this SMG is the fact that it is, if I do that, drop the hammer, there you go. The claim to fame to this is that it is basically universally loved and liked by all the companies enough that it's fully compatible. Now, whether that's the case or not, like I say, I've tried pretty much many mags, WE, VFC, you name it, and it seems to match up. So if you've got some of them, this is going to be a really good little SMG. And yes, it does work with the long 50 round stick mags as well. And the drums, apparently. If you've got a gas drum Glock mag for VFC or WE, it's going to work, which is going to be even amazing, you know. But yes, these are all the cool things, so it's a really good thing. Now, what do I think about the SMG here in front of us, the GHM9? Well, like I say, I love the name, Grasshopper Mouse. It's really funny. It's a nice slapstick, how to say, dig, let's put it that way, against CZ and their Scorpion, because they like to think they're really cool, but the Scorpion has a heck of a lot of proprietary parts. So, yeah. And then, of course, in Airsoft, they've kind of replicated the Real Steel thing where they've copied the price plan and went from half the price of a APC-9, because if you look at the Marui Armour APC-9, that comes in at £450 plus shipping. And With this, it comes in around the £200 mark. You can pick one up. It is in its pistol configuration, but you add 50 quid for a stock. It's still around the half price mark. It's very affordable, and it's a great, I would say, SMG. If you've not had an SMG and you're getting into gas blowbacks, you've got pistols and that, but you wanted to go that one step further, this is a really good competitive, I would say, little product. And yes, it is a master at, I would say, CQB. The trigger's a bit heavy, but once you've gotten used to it and you've broken the gun in after about 500 rounds to 1,000 rounds, you're going to be flying through those arenas and dominating the field with this little thing, because it's absolutely awesome. So for £200, I don't know really what else you could buy in this size, shape, or form that would be actually any good. I mean, even the fabled MP7 comes in at £300 these days for the Tokyo Marui, which isn't full size. And then you're looking at VSC, which can go anywhere from £320 to £390 I've seen them going for, depending on what spec you go for. And they're expensive. So this coming in at £199.99 is awesome. Now, I got mine from Dave's Custom Airsoft, and if you want to get yours, I'll leave their web address down in the description below. And you can just check them out and enjoy them, because they do have some good deals on at the moment, and they do get some really good, I would say, cool gas blowbacks and, I would say, AEGs in there. They're a really good store. But when it comes down to this, I'm really happy. A lot of people are going to be harping on about the polymer receiver, but to be honest with you, I live in the UK. We're currently at 4 degrees Celsius and dropping as winter is starting to, I would say, come here. We've got Christmas very, very soon at the time of recording this. Snow will start to appear. Having a full metal receiver in gas blowback is not always a good option. That's why Tokyo Maruis run all year round, because they're polymer. You don't get the cooldown as much, and what cooldown you have is easily managed, and so you can enjoy this. So that's actually a good thing. And then, of course, in the summer, you could always purchase the receiver and just swap things out in between the seasons if you wish. It's entirely up to you. The good thing is it gives you a great entry level, and you've got a path to upgrade. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. Like I say, I've put so many rounds through it. I've taken it out. I've used it in gameplay, and it's just been absolutely a little monster. It's dominated, and everyone who's held it and shot it have said the same. The recoil is so subdued, even though it's a nice bolt. It's so controllable and easy that you can just enjoy it with a smile on your face. You're looking at that reciprocating charging handle, which can be on the side that you wish it to be. I have mine on the left. I'm right-handed. But, you know, and you're watching that, you're smiling, having a good time, and just enjoying it. And that's what we love about Airsoft. Everyone can enjoy. And this is a really, really good gun for Airsoft. So, without waffling on or running that risk of going on too far, I hope you've enjoyed the video. As always, I've been the Middle Aged Gamer. You guys have been awesome. Leave it in the comments what you think down below, and I'll see you in the next one.